Okay, so good evening, everyone. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Okay, so I just switch on my video for a brief while, then I'll probably turn it off just so that you all know who is talking on the side of the. Okay, so yeah, welcome everyone. My name is Karthik, right? So I have been an instructor for CT, Python, and now I have moved on to PDSA. I will also be there on the Python side, but yeah, so this is about me, and so welcome to this live coding session, and first of all, happy new year to all of you, and let's hope that this new year brings with it a lot of good things, right? So I just wanted to put that on record to begin with. Okay, so I just turn off my video just so that it's a bit easier to function, and whenever I address any particular queries and we are not actually coding live, I'll turn on my video, right? So that's the protocol that we'll be following. All right, so I'll just share my screen now. Okay, so are all of you able to see the screen?
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay, so see, this is what we'll be doing in this session. So as you know, week one is just a revision of whatever you have done in Python. So we'll be having some 6 coding problems, right? So 6 problems that we'll be solving over the duration of the session. Okay, so these problems are there in the portal. So I request all of you to please go to the portal and check out this unit called live coding. So it will be there right at the end of the left panel. Okay, so please go to that particular live coding section, right? And you'll be seeing 6 problems out there. We'll go sequentially. Once you have, got hold of this particular section, either raise your hand or press some smiley button so that I know that you're all able to see this collection of problems. Right. I think you're all able to access the problems, right? So we just go ahead. So the way we'll do it is as follows. So the problems have been configured in the portal this time. So last time, if you ask your seniors, so to speak, they would tell you that the problems were done on Replit. So what we'll do is we'll follow a hybrid model. So look at the problem in the portal, look at the problem statement. So usually it's like the following, right? Write some function that does something, right? It takes something as input and returns something as output. So just to make the session a bit interactive, what we'll do is I will request one of you. So anyone from here can volunteer to write this function on Replit. I mean, not copy paste their pre-written code, but I would like one of you to volunteer and code directly here, right? So starting from scratch. So that's what we'll be trying, and just let me know once you have read the problem and understood it, and then we'll go ahead and start solving.
There's one thing, whether it has to have only 2 factors or it can have several factors which all are fine.
It can have only two, right? Because it is called what is it called? It's called a prime product if it can be written as the product of two primes. So that means you cannot have any other primes, right? Because if P is a prime.
Yes, so it cannot be P into Q into R where all P, Q, R are primes. That is not the case here.
Yeah. So in fact, if you look at it, the right term for this is actually something called a semi-prime. So a semi-prime is a natural number that is the product of exactly two prime numbers. This is what we actually mean by this prime product. So you're actually trying to see if a given number is a semi-prime or not.
Okay.
Okay, so there is someone who has already volunteered for Replit. So what I will do is, can you, whoever volunteered, can you please message me privately or Replit ID or on public chat? I mean, it's fine. Either way, it's fine. Yeah, I mean, anyone. I just need your ID so that I can invite you. Okay, so Jaktesh Singh has volunteered, and so is someone else. I don't know your actual name. So, all right. So I got one ID. So I'll just go ahead and invite Amit. Okay, so Amit can now edit. So can you just type something, say pass? All right, yeah. So Amit, would you mind unmuting and talking as you code? So just so that we get an idea of.
Yes, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so the first problem, so should I give a solution?
Yeah, you need to write the solution, but you must not copy it from anywhere. So the idea
No,
is, I mean, copy in the sense not plagiarize anything. So that's not what I meant. I mean, you might have already written the solution in your browser. Some of you might have seen this before. So if you have already written it, yeah, this is what we want. Yeah.
Sir, I have written, sir, the solution.
Okay, so is it syntactically correct? All lines, or
So should I execute it once?
I mean, even before you execute, do you see any problem with the syntax in any line?
Just a second, sir. Sorry, sir. Let me check once. Oh yes, yes, this is doing up. Sorry, sir. Now is okay, sir. I overlooked that one.
Okay, so can you quickly tell us what you have done? So, I mean, what?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So, sir, here I have defined a variable by the name answer. So this is just a counter of the number of prime factors, which may or may not be unique of the number m. They can be unique or they can't be the count of the prime factors. And now, if the number is divisible by two, no, there's a mistake, sir. Yes, there's a mistake. I am correcting it. So this is just checking whether, I mean, just a second. Yes, sir. Now is the number of the power of exponent of two in this part of the code actually is calculating the exponent of two in the number m. So it's just answer will now be after this step that is here. Okay. So and thereafter we so here also is wrong. Yes. So here and here we are iterating over all the odd numbers. That is from 3 to let's say m. So and we are skipping one number so that we go over only the odd numbers. And this will only calculate the prime number. This will only check for the prime numbers because let's say if there is a odd number which is not prime, and so I will be there also. I will it will the for loop will iterate over such a number also which is not prime but odd. But the thing is, if they that unprime, I mean that composite number which is also odd, that number will be not be I mean will not be checked for because if the prime factors of that one will have already been divided. I mean we will have already been that this step will have already divided those I mean the prime factors of the composite odd prime.
Okay, so see, what I am not able to understand is why are you getting the, so this is the exponent of, you are actually getting the log of m right here.
No, sir, not the log of m, not exactly that. This step you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Actually, sir, I'm taking the number of prime factors of the number m.
Okay.
And if that is equal to 2, then I'm returning true, else I'm returning false. If this is more than 2, less than 2, whatever it is.
Okay, so did you test this out? Did you, should we will try this out here?
I'm trying it, sir, in Replit. I mean in the portal, right?
Yeah, so now we'll copy this and I'll try
Yes,
to shoot here.
I'm running it. I'm doing the test run first. Oh no, there is a problem. Sorry, sir, this is a compilation.
Okay, so you are probably missing out on this, but still, right? So even otherwise, if you assume that you are doing m floor division, that's why the.
Yes, I got it. Yes, sorry, sir. Actually there's a mistake from my side. It should be
Right.
like this, and here also same. Yes, you have already done it for me. Yes.
Okay, so you're saying this will work?
Let me check this one, sir. I'm checking it. Actually, that was the mistake.
Okay, it seems to pass all public test cases.
Yes, the public has passed, and now I'm taking on the final one. That is a private one. Oh, one test is not passing. Sorry, actually.
Okay.
Okay, the negative one. I think it's a negative one. I got it. I'm just correcting it. So
Okay, let's copy this.
yes, I'm running it.
Okay, this seems to pass all the test cases.
Yes.
All right, so going back to your code, can you now explain? See, this there are certain parts which are not clear to me still.
Yes, sir. Okay.
See, here you are essentially finding the log. See, answer is the log of m, right? Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, log of base 2.
Okay, and so why are you computing the log of m?
Sir, actually, sir, I'm trying to find out that same as log of m. I'm trying to find out the power of 2 in m. That is, if let's say there are 3, power of 2 is 3, so it's 8 is a. I mean, if actually not the log of 2, sir, because this is m modulo 2 equal to 0. As long as it is divisible by 2, only then I'm dividing and adding. If it's not divisible, let's say it's 3, then log of 3 is 1. I mean 1 point something, but actually 1. I mean, if we do a so 3 won't pass this while loop, and then it will return answer will remain 0 if we give let's say 3.
Okay. Okay, right. So
It is checking the exponent of 2 in the number.
right. So okay. See, I'm not. I see that it's passing, but I'm not like totally convinced. But should be right because it's passing the test cases. So I'll get back to this at the end. All right. But this is one. I see this as one solution. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So thanks, Amit. So is there anyone else who has already written the solution? Maybe now instead of typing it on Replit, I can copy your. If you can paste your code in Zoom, I can.
Yes,
copy
I
it.
can.
Yeah.
My code is passing cases where P and Q are different and P and Q are prime. But suppose it is P and P, both are prime, like say 49, then it is not giving the.
Okay, we'll look at that also. So who just posted their code? Anmol, is it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we. Okay, so yeah, Anmol, can you explain what you're doing?
So first we are taking the number n and then taking out the factors, then counting the factors which are prime, and then taking 2 loops and multiplying the prime numbers, and then checking if it is equal to n, and if it is equal to n, then we are returning true, or else we are coming out of the loop and then it is false.
All right. Okay, so you have a function to determine if it's a prime. You have a function to find out the number of factors or all the factors of the number n. And then you make use of these functions here, right?
So,
Okay, yeah. So this is a well-designed code. So there is a clear distinction or a division into 3 different functions, right? So he needs to find the factors of the number and he needs to check the primality of the number, right? So this is one other correct solution. So is there anyone else who has? I see many, but I don't think we'll have the time to look at all of them. So let me look at something which is small. So Barindra has a very small piece of code. Maybe it has something interesting in it. So I'll just look at that once. Okay. Barindra there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Can you explain what you have done?
So I am actually first taking all the,
extracting all the prime factors of the given number.
Okay.
So if it is a multiple of 2 primes other than 1 in itself, then it should have 4 factors. But we also have to check whether the 2 factors we get actually multiplies to that number, the given number.
Okay.
Like, for example, if we get 12, in that case, we will also get 4 prime factors.
Right.
Sorry, 2 prime factors.
Right.
2 and 3, but there are 2 2s in 12. So that should not be that should not pass.
Okay, so your prime factor is doing what? It's just returning all the factors, right?
Yes.
Okay, you're returning all the factors, and what you're claiming is that if the number is to be a semi-prime, right? That is, it has only 2 prime factors.
Yes.
Then
the length have to be 4, and the middle 2 elements of the list should multiply to get the given number.
okay, this is interesting. So the middle 2.
First we get 1.
Okay, so you get the example of 6, right? So I'll take that. So 1, 2, 3, 6.
6.
So
okay. 2 and 3 should be multiplied to 6. If there is 12, then for 12 we will also get 1, 2, 3, and 12. But that will check the first condition. For second condition, 12 will get stopped.
This is nice. So I am just wondering if there could be a counter. Is there a counter example to this? Is there any case where this won't work?
Should not be.
Okay. So can you prove this? I mean, can you rigorously establish that this is the case? See, I understand it's a very good piece of logic. It's quite different from what we have seen so far, but
if we take the example of 2, then it should, I guess, contradict.
It would not pass because 2 have 1 and 2, and the length of the list would not be 4.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
So do we consider 1 as a prime number?
No, 1 is not a prime, but what Barindra, who's Barindra, right? This is
yes,
has done is he has taken the list of factors. So this, I would say, a better naming is factor and call it factor. Yeah, so 1 is not a prime, but
no, we are not taking all. Oh, yes, we are taking all the factors. Sorry.
But if we, sir,
yeah,
if we take 49 as x, then will it pass? I'm not sure, but I think it won't pass.
So let's take 49.
For 49, we will get 1, 7, and 49. The length would not be 4.
But it should pass. It should be true.
No, it would not pass. The length of the list would not be 4.
But he's yeah, the claim is right, no, but it should, so it's a product. So it's a product where both P and Q are primes, not necessarily distinct, I think.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so that's a counter example where you have the square of a prime.
I thought we will only take distinct prime numbers.
Yeah. So if it is distinct prime numbers, then it seems to be correct. So even there, can someone think of?
Sir, shall I discuss something? Sir?
Yeah.
Sir, suppose if we take 42,
okay,
it has 2, 3, and 7, sir.
Yeah, but it won't. It'll also have more than 4 factors, right? So it'll have 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
So several more than 4 it will have. So
Sir, it should contain only two prime numbers as factors. Is it the
yeah,
condition?
that is the definition of this prime product or semi-prime. Yeah. So anyway, so this is nice. I think it's in the interest of time, you have to move on. Barindra, can you do one thing?
Yes, sir.
Can you please create a discourse post on this, pasting your solution,
Okay. Okay,
and
sir.
that will trigger a discussion, right? So it's an interesting problem because this will keep repeating in the course, right? So this is maybe a recap of Python,
It's
but
good to.
in the next few weeks, what we'll do is we'll have to prove the correctness, or not rigorously, at least to some extent, we need to prove that whatever algorithms we have written are correct, right? Or they will work for any possible X. So please paste this code, create a post in
Sir,
this post. Yes.
sir, in this solution only, if we do the loop from 1 to root x, and when we are putting the factors, when we are appending the factors, we append their its corresponding also in the list. For example, for 6 only, we will correspond 1 and 6 together in the
Okay.
list. In
Right.
that way, we will get the square factor also. As he was talking about the 49, as 49 was the case of problem.
Okay, I get your point. So you're saying instead of appending just factors, append tuples of factors, like
Yes,
Sir, I did that way.
all right. Okay, so 7.
Yes, sir. I also did in that way only.
Okay, and then you also check for this, but in that case you will get only 3, right? Still.
No, sir. We will get 6 factor. In that way, we will get 4 factors: 1, 49, 7, and 7.
7 and 7, right?
It wouldn't be a tuple. It would be simple numbers only, but in the form of list. It would be a number list only. That is 1, 49, 7, and 7.
Okay.
Sir, I did in double way. Please check the chat.
All right, all right. So see, I think we'll have to stop the solutions, stop looking at more solutions at this stage, given that we may be running out of time. But did everyone get this idea, the basic idea behind the solution? That is what we need to ensure now.
Yes, sir.
Sir, just so I posted my post. I mean, maybe there seems to be just a simpler way of doing it, where you just simply check for the prime factors in the range, for the given n. Simply just try to divide the first prime factor. I mean, whichever prime factor we find, you can divide it. You can divide n by that. If it is divisible, then we can find the quotient and see if that is also a prime. Then you will automatically return it as true, right?
True. Yeah. So what we'll do is there is also one protocol which we'll follow, which is that from my side, I will give the official solution also.
Okay.
And whatever Kaushik has mentioned is the official solution. So I'll probably add that very quickly, right? In the next 2 minutes, we'll finish it. So the main thing we are doing is checking the primality of a number x, right? So I am going to write an inefficient code, right? I'm not going to bother about whether it is really correct, efficient or not. So you go through all numbers in the range of 1 to x plus 1. And if x percentage if x is divisible by f, then f is a factor. Okay, so this is a factor. So this list is nothing but all the factors of the number x. Now, when is this a prime? If the length of this list is equal to 2, it's prime, right? So a prime number is one which has only that number itself and 1 as the factors. So this is a function that checks if the number x is a prime or not. Okay, now what we want is prime product, which is so just as Kaushik was mentioning a while back, we go through each number in the range of 1, so essentially we can start from 2. We don't need to, and we don't need to check for n. So if x is divisible or n is divisible by f, and if f happens to be prime, and if n divided by f happens to be prime, then we essentially return true. There's nothing more to iterate over. If not, we return false. Okay, so do you think this will work? Is there any flaw in the code?
Sir, the number should be positive.
Yeah, so that is a point. But see, since I'm going from 2 to n, even if you enter a negative number, I will return false by default. I won't iterate. So this will be an empty range, right? So if the number n is negative, I'll return false then and there.
So in its prime function, it is not returning anything.
Good point. So that is one error. So I'm fixing that. Is there any other error that you can spot?
Sir, in the sixth line, why is what is the last thing being done? Is prime n divided by f? Why is that being done?
So if n is divisible by f, then f is a factor of n, right? So we are testing for that. If f is a factor of n, then you will check if it's prime. So that's the second condition, is f a prime. And if f is a prime, then only then you go and check if n by f. So n by f, right? So I could just do this, but that would make it a float. So I want the integer value, right? So since you know that f is a factor of n by f is the other pair in the whole thing.
But sir, can we exclude this integer thing, because since it is divisible by f, so it should be 0. So it should be integer anyway.
It should be integer, but where we'll get a problem is, I'll do this and I'll let's see if it throws an error or not. First, I will execute this to make sure that it is passing all test cases. Okay, 3 out of 3 and 4 out of 4. So this is the correct code. Now let's see what happens if I make it floor, normal division, right? Okay, so I get a runtime error. Basically, this in line 2, it says float object cannot be interpreted as an integer. So what is happening is that when I pass this, it's actually a float value, right? So it's, say if
okay.
this,
Yeah.
You got the point, right? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that is another solution. And I think we can move on now. Let's move on to problem number 2. And I want someone else to volunteer now.
Shall I volunteer?
Yeah, Anushka, right?
Yes.
Okay, I need you to give me your Replit ID so that I can invite you.
My email ID?
No, your Replit ID. Do you have one?
I am logging in using the student mail ID itself.
Okay, so or we'll do it this way. Maybe every time I generate a join link, so everyone can join, but everyone shouldn't click this link. Okay, otherwise it will be.
Oh, it's Anushka Krishna itself.
Okay, then I can invite you directly. That may be better. Krishna, is this the one?
No. Yes, this one.
Okay, see if you are able to join the REPL. Okay, others, please go through the second question so basically what we want to do is we want to accept a string S and a character C as input and remove all the occurrences of this character from the string. Okay, so that's what we want to do.
No, it's not coming.
Okay, so I'll send you the invite then. Okay, I have sent you the invite in Zoom chat.
Okay. Now it's okay.
Okay, so if possible, please talk as you code. And
Okay, so basically we have to just remove the one string from the word. Actually, we are taking a string S and a single length string C. If it's single length, then only we have to remove, or else we have not to remove and just return the same whatever we have took as thing. So for firstly, we will give the condition that if the length is greater than 1, which is in question, so it will return the original string itself. And if not, then it will remove that string. I mean, for example, in banana, if the single string is B, that is, I mean, the C is B, then we have to remove B from banana. So first we created a single string so that we can update it as required. Then we took the for loop and we checked it with in every single string of S, we checked it with the single string C. For I not equal to C, then we will update it in X, and if it's equal, then we'll not update it. And finally, we will return the X. It's done, I think.
all right, yeah, I think this is correct. So what we'll do is let's not run it here. Let's go to the portal and
Okay.
paste it. And okay, so that passes all public test cases and also the private test cases, right? So this is correct. So just few things I would suggest here, Nushka. So see, this else pass can be removed, okay?
Yes.
Right. So because I mean, it's not useful that. So the second thing I would do is I would also remove the whole else clause and indent it to the left. Okay. See, I am using 4 spaces, so it may look I am doing this. Yeah. So do you see why that works?
Yes.
Right. So you don't need this whole else clause here.
Yes, the conditioning itself. Actually, if it is greater than, I mean, the length of C is greater than 1, then it will return and the whole loop will not run. And if not, then the X part will run.
Right. Okay. So this is, I mean, it's the same solution, but just we are making it slightly
short.
Yeah. So okay, in making it short, some mistake has been done. What is that? Runtime error. Okay, indentation is a problem apparently. Okay. Again, indentation error for return X. So this copying from there has been a problem. Okay. All right, so this is one solution. Thank you. And we can now maybe look at one other solution before we move on. Jishnu has posted a solution which uses string methods. So I'll share that next. So what is that? Okay, so Vishnu, you want to explain what you have done?
Sir, actually, after receiving S and C as parameters, we check whether the length of C is 1. If it is 1, we replace it. We replace the character C from the string S and return it. Otherwise, we just simply return the string. That's it.
Nice. Okay. It's a very short and sweet solution. So I have one question here. So what happens if I say comment this out, and instead of that I write s dot replace C comma empty string? So will this also work?
No, sir, it will not replace the string S, but it will just, it's not replacing the actual string. If you want to do like that, then you have to return S dot replace C, return that piece of code, return S dot replace.
Okay, so why doesn't it do this?
It is not replacing the actual string S, but it is just returning the a new string with the C replaced.
Got it. Okay. All right. So right, that is one question I had, which, yeah, this is a very simple piece of code. So I think this is one solution. Maybe, I'm sorry, I by mistake clicked on recording, so I'm not recording it. So any other solutions that, yeah, I think some of them are similar. So there is one solution which you can do using list comprehension. Then I would just like to share that. So that is as follows. So if the length of C is greater than 1, then you return S as it is. If not, what you can do is you can iterate through each character in the string S. And if it is not, the character is not equal to the C, then you just add it to your list, right? And this is a list of characters. So what you do is you join this and you return that particular string. Okay, so this is another solution which uses list comprehension. So we'll be seeing list comprehension quite often, and you must get used to it. Okay, so that is the official solution in some sense, and we had two other solutions as you just saw. Okay, so I think that completes the second problem. I hope all of you got it. If not, you can stop me at this stage.
Sir, I got the another one method also.
Okay.
Like if there is a string of, if there is more than C character, means the length of C is greater than 1, we will simply return S.
Okay.
And if it is, and otherwise, we will iterate to each of the S in a new string. And instead of list, we can use that string to return the statement.
Right. So that was the similar to the first solution, right? Which Mushka shared.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So that is, there are like 3 wings, maybe several more, but we will probably move on now. And okay, so the next question is, we are asked to shuffle 2 lists. So there's a small typo here. You have to take the first element from L1 and first element from L2, and then the second element in L2, this should be L1 actually. So you take the second element from L1 and then the second element from L2 and so on, right? So for example, if you want to shuffle these two, then it means take 0 and take 1, take 2, take 3, take 4, take 5. Okay, so this is what we mean by shuffling. So you have to write a function called shuffle that will accept 2 lists and then shuffle them in this way. Okay, so that's the question. So who would like to?
Sir, can I go?
Yeah, Rajdeep.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we'll send you the invite link so that you can.
Sir, is it working?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, sir, I'll start.
Yeah, please. And if possible, please try to speak as you code.
Yes, sir. Sir, like we have already discussed about how will we, what the aim of the problem is. We take the first element from the first list, and then the first from second, then second from first, and then we go ahead. First is, sir, we will build initialize an empty list, and then I'm initializing a counter. Then I will start a while loop here. Well, and the condition here inside would be as follows. So as long as both the list length isn't shortened to 0, the loop will continue. And what will be happening inside the loop is as follows. We append the first element from L1, then we remove, I think we'll do this. We will remove that first element now from the list. And next we append the first from the second element from the second list. Then we will remove that element as well. And this is where our loop will come to an end. Then there could be a situation where the lengths of both the lists might not be same, they'll be different. So in that case, there will be some elements left from one of the lists. Only one of the lists will still remain non-empty. So suppose that list is L1, but let us suppose we'll give an if block for that. If length of L2 is again not equal to 0, then L becomes L2. And finally, in the shuffle list, we join L and we return the shuffle list.
Okay, so what we'll do is we'll see if this works. Okay, so we will paste this here. Okay, it has passed all public test cases. It has passed all private test cases.
Yes, sir.
Right? So
yes, sir.
Yeah. So here is one question. Okay, so there is. Hello, please mute. Those
Go. நீங்க குளிச்சிட்டு வாங்க.
Okay, so yeah, I'm sorry I had to mute one of you because there was some noise. Yeah, see what we are. I have one question. So let's run it on a custom list, right?
Yes.
On, let's say. Okay, can I change my preference? This is kind of slightly. Okay, this is better. So I am shuffling. Okay, so let's say I shuffle two lists, say P equal to 1, 1, 2, 3, and I shuffle that with Q, which is say 5, 5, or rather say 5, 6, 7, 7. So let's, before executing the code, what should be the output R?
So after executing, it should be
Yeah.
1 5 1 6 2 7 3 7.
Okay, one should be 1 5 1 5 1 6
2 7
2 7
then 3 7.
Okay, so let's keep this in mind. I'll just comment it. I'll add these as comments here. Okay, so this is what we need to get. Okay, let's go ahead and run. So the function is now defined, and now let's go ahead and introduce P and Q here. It's called shuffle of P and Q. Okay.
Yes, so it's the same output as we expected.
Interesting, because see, what are P and Q? P and Q are empty. Okay, see, what I was a bit confused initially was, let's say I define P. So you are at some level saying P dot remove 1, right? At some point you're saying this. Correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So if I remove, okay. Okay, so it removes the leftmost occurrence, and
so actually in my list I had mentioned the index as well, so it will remove that particular one on.
yeah. So see, what I was looking for is,
Sir, every time the index is at 0th position, so there won't be any mishaps.
Yes, sir.
Correct.
Exactly,
Yeah.
sir. The index, I am not changing the index while removing, so it's constantly
Right.
0 already.
All right. Okay, so this, if you had wanted to remove this at some other position, this could have caused a problem. But yeah, as you say, since it's always, you're always removing the 0th element, it's not a problem.
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah, so this is a correct solution. This is one correct solution. Is there, maybe I look at the chat and maybe we can go through the other solutions also. Not too many, but okay. We look at something that is simple on the mind.
Sir, I have a doubt.
Yeah.
Sir, I just did a concatenate both of the list and just returned the sorted list.
Okay.
And then also all the test case got passed.
You concatenated them and just sorted it, is it?
Yeah. Shall I post the code?
Yeah. Which is the one? The last one, is it?
Yeah.
Oh my God, what is this? You are saying this works.
So might be the case that there is a two list which has arranging them in a such a way that two lists have, if sorted, itself gets merged.
Right. So
Like we have example 0, 2, 4 and 1, 3, 5. If we merge them and sorted them, it will always come 0, 1, 2.
correct. Yeah, you're right. So
four,
the
five.
test cases are not properly suggestive of the entire sample space. So if you say if you give the following test cases, right? Say 3, 2, 1 and say 1, 2, 3. You are supposed to get
3, 1, 2, 2, 1, 3.
3, 1, 2, 2 and 1, 3, right? So let's run this on. On this one. So yeah, so this is where it will fail, right? So as I don't know who pointed out, test cases are all already in sorted order apparently, and it not just that, it so happens that if you pick up the elements if you alternate in picking up the elements from the two lists, it's the same as sorting the concatenated lists, right? So it's an interesting observation. What we need to do is we need to make the test cases more reflective of the problem sample space. Okay, so now I want to look at one aspect of the previous solution. So I'm not able to go back. Okay, so in this solution, what we are doing is what Rajdeep has presented is correct, but in the process we are altering L1 and L2, right? So we are removing elements. So I would like to present one solution which has not done that. Is there anything that has? Can someone tell me? So there are too many to look at. So can someone tell me?
Yeah, sorry. This is one solution that I have approached is simply taking the max length of the two lists and just
Okay.
using that index to keep adding to the list. Alternatively, just keep adding to a list, except that as long as the range given is not exceeding the length of the individual lists. So yeah, this is the solution.
Okay, so what you have done is you are picking up the longer list. You are iterating through the indices of that particular list, and if I is less than the length of L1, you append it. This is nice. So in every iteration, you will first append L1, then append L2, and at some point you will run out of
length in one of the lists.
This is very nice. So this is a very clean solution. Okay, I hope everyone got this also. So this has the advantage of, okay, there's something very elegant and simple about it. So we are going to adopt this as the official solution, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Okay, so that is, I think we can now move on.
Sir, will it not throw list index out of range error?
That is why you have this safeguards here, right? So you are checking if I is less than length of L1, and only then you are accessing that particular index.
Okay, sir.
Right. So yeah, it was a very good solution. So we'll now move on. I know that many of you have posted other solutions also. Right. So in the interest of time, we can probably return to them at the end. Okay. So who would like to volunteer for this on Replit? Any volunteers for writing this solution from scratch? Okay, Shruti, I'll send you the invite link. Okay, Shruti and maybe Snehil can go next time for the next problem.
I'd like to go for the next problem.
Okay, so this expand you don't want to do. You want to go for the next problem.
No, expand I want to do. I thought we were doing shuffle again.
Okay, yeah. So expand. I have sent you the, what is this called? Invite link. Yeah. So expand, while Shruti is logging in, I'll just quickly describe the problem. So you have to do what? You have to accept a list and look at the absolute value of the difference between adjacent elements in the list, and that sequence of differences should be strictly increasing. If it is strictly increasing, then you should return true. If not, you have to return false. Okay, so that's the gist of the expectation. Okay, so Shruti, are you able to log in to Replit?
So it says 404 not found.
Oh, is it? Maybe the link is wrong. Generate a join link. I'll remove the two of them who are already there. Probably that is a problem. Can you check now?
Yes. Yes, it works.
Okay. Okay, can you, if it's possible, please speak as you talk. I mean, whatever you are thinking about while writing the solution.
Yes, sir. So they want us to find if the absolute difference between consecutive numbers are in increasing order. So I was thinking maybe we'll iterate from 1 to just 1 before the length of the list, and then we'll see if we'll make a list of absolute differences and see if that list and the sorted version of that list are the same, in which case we'll return true.
Okay, yeah, please go ahead.
So will this work?
Okay, so you are appending the absolute. Okay, so there is a potential problem at line 2, at line 4. So do you see what that could be? So what is this? What is this ABS and what is this ABS?
Okay, so we can't name it that way, is it?
Yeah, so when Python looks up ABS, it will be confused because you have overwritten that absolute value with this new list, that ABS function. Yeah, this will. Okay, now let's go from the beginning. You're appending the absolute value of the differences, and you're sorting the absolute value of the, or rather these differences. Okay, and okay. So till this, it's, but at line 5, do you see what the problem could be?
For a strictly flag or a strictly increasing case, it would fail, I think.
Okay, so before that, so 5 to 7, right? Do you think
outside in line of it seems to be inside the for loop, shouldn't it be outside?
Yeah, so lines 5 to 7 should be outside, right? So you are inside the for loop.
Right, yes.
Okay, so let's move that out. Okay, now, so the I don't know who suggested this, but what about the case where the differences are not strictly increasing and they are monotonically increasing, in the sense that the previous difference is 2, then the current difference could be anything greater than or equal to 2. So your code would return true in that case, right?
Yeah, so, okay, does it say strictly increasing?
Yeah. Let's anyway try this out. Okay, so we'll try this out. I don't know if the test cases have been configured to reflect that aspect.
Range of the loop. It should be from 0 to L length minus 1.
Yeah, right. So 0 to length minus 1. And let's run this. Okay, so the test case where it is not passing, which is this?
Second case.
Okay, so here is it strictly, it's not strictly increasing, is it? So you have difference of 2, 5, sorry, 2, 4, and then it is
5
minus
and 5 and 5, absolutely.
Yeah. So here you have this case. Who I think Aman, I don't know who was mentioning about it, but if you notice, in this particular case, it will be 2, 4, 5, 5. Right? So you have to take into account this one also.
Okay, yes.
Okay.
So we'll have to have a previous difference, variable for previous difference, I guess.
Right. Or if you really want to be, you use Python's feature, you could also maybe say 0 to length of L minus 1. And if it's sorted and you know that the number of elements in the set AB is the same as the number of elements in AB, then that might work. So I am not sure, but we could still try. So
yeah,
right, but I would still suggest that, see, this is like too many operations. You are invoking a set and then taking its length. Maybe it could be made simpler, as you suggested, of holding a previous difference value.
Yes.
All right. Okay, so that is one solution to the problem. Now let's go and look at several solutions have been posted. So can someone suggest what I have to look at by unmuting? Okay, very
Sir,
much.
I have done by creating a variable p difference and difference.
Okay, Mayank, is it?
Yes, sir.
Mayank, where is your code?
6 p.m.
Okay, yeah, 6 p.m. That's a good reference point. So you have, okay, you have done this previous, right? So previous difference is this, and then you go from 1 to length of L minus 1, you get the current difference. If the current difference happens to be less than or equal to the previous difference, then you return false. If not, you update the previous difference. Yeah, this is a good one.
Yes, sir. It will pass for a list that has a single element also.
Right, right. Okay, so this is another solution. Maybe we look at one more. Can someone tell me what I have to look at?
Sir, can you see mine? 6-7 p.m. direct message.
6-7 p.m.
Hemant.
Yeah, okay. So with Hemant's, we will stop. Okay. So you have used all.
That all will return directly true or false. That's all.
Okay. So for all, everything should be true, then it returns true, is it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So
Strictly right.
All right. So you're going through this. So is this what? This is a generator, or what is this called? So this is not a list comprehension, right? But this is some sequence of booleans. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So all right. So this is also valid. You're creating a list of differences, and then you are using the all function here to determine if every ith element is less than the I plus 1th element of
Yes,
the
sir.
difference list.
Difference.
All right. Okay. So that's also valid.
We can just iterate through the list, and I posted the solution 6:09 p.m. Barendra Ball.
Okay.
Sir,
This looks very small.
sir, rather than creating a list, we can directly iterate and do true and false, similar to this only.
Got it. Got it. Yeah, this is very nice. So this is short and sweet. Okay, so this is nice. Yeah, you just quickly look at the differences and okay, yeah. So you are looking at essentially triplets, right? Triplets in the list. Okay, so for those of you who are looking at it, we are looking at the triplet I plus 1 and I plus 2, and we are looking at this I plus 1 minus I, which is the previous difference. So ideally that should be smaller, but if it happens to be bigger than the current difference, then you have to return false, right? So if not, at the end you return true. Okay, that's nice. All right, so we'll stop at that. I mean, this particular problem we have to stop now. And yeah, so these are all valid solutions. Now we move to problem 5.
Some square.
Okay, so who would like to volunteer for
Shall I, sir?
yeah. So I will send you the link.
Okay.
Okay, I think Snehil already volunteered. So shall we do both of you maybe? Is that fine?
Okay, sir.
Okay, I think yeah. So we'll probably go with Yeah, so yeah, maybe then next problem you can do. So I'll send it out to both of you and you can then go one after the other. Either way is fine. Okay, so the problem for others, while both of them log into the platform, we have to write this function sum square that takes the list L and returns a list of two numbers. Odd is the sum of squares of odd numbers and even is the sum of squares of even numbers, right? So yeah, so who is now writing?
Sir, Aditi Krishna.
Yeah, okay. Can you speak as you write so that we get to know what
Sure,
is
sir.
going?
Yes, sir. First defining a function sum square with list L. Then appending initializing x to be 0 and y to be 0. X, I have thought x as the sum of squares of odd and y as the sum of square of even. Okay. Then for loop for loop in absolute. Here absolute I have used because for taking if any of the number will be positive or negative, then it will be translating it into positive. So I have taken here absolute, and for modulo to check whether it is even or odd. And if it is odd, then appending to x, matlab adding to x, and if it is even, then adding to y. And yes, completion. Yes.
Okay, so let's try this out in the
Updating the x values. Yes, x and y values. Yes, sir. Done.
okay, we'll paste it and test run it. Okay, sum square. I think it is, what is the function name? Sum
square.
There's an extra S.
I was taking
Okay, just an extra S here, so that's fine. Yeah, first is all public test cases and also the private test cases, right? So this is the correct solution. So just few small suggestions. So I would prefer, naming it as odd even. Okay.
But it will be taking more space, so I thought of taking
Correct,
as
correct.
x and y.
Yeah.
Yes, but
So
odd and even.
true. Yeah. So these are just cosmetic changes, if you will. And see, preferably it would be better if you reserve I for indices of a list and not for the elements of the list. So I would say for x in L, x is an element, or you could say element. Okay, that might be too much. So could just stick with x in L, and then go for x here, and even and odd. Right. So
Fine, sir.
right. I mean, it's very small changes, but it just makes your code more.
Yeah. Yes.
Right. And you could probably remove this L and just say return a list containing odd and even. Okay, yeah. So that's anyway the solution is correct.
Sir, it's odd plus equal to x square, not odd square.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
X to the power 2. Yes.
Got it. Yeah.
So that absolute conversion is not needed actually.
Yeah, that is not needed. I think it is given here that it's see, even if it is negative, right?
Took that
Yes,
because
yes.
if any
The square of two
positive
multiply two negative number will get positive square. So
yes. No, just for checking it is odd or even. So, matlab, if it is odd, then it will be adding up.
no,
in
the
the
modulo
odd.
function will also act for negative number similarly.
So
That's
like
also not needed.
what is like -4 say %2? That's what he's saying. That's also 0, right? So that check you don't need to have.
Okay.
Right? Okay. So snail, maybe you can go.
Fine.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is the correct solution. This is a correct solution. So Snehal, would you like to go ahead and you have the same code? Okay, right? So then we can maybe look at one more code because the next problem is kind of tricky. It will take time. So I would like to spend more time there. Whose code should I look at? Can someone unmute and tell me? If you have something special that you have done different from this. Hello. Okay, so yeah, I think most of them are quite similar. So let's just move on, right? Okay. Yeah, so problem 6, and which is the last problem in the for today's session. So who would like to volunteer? Snehal, would you like to go ahead for this or?
The number of repetitions.
Since you have been asking for like 2 times. And hello?
Yes,
There are 1, 7, 2, 11, 12. 2 ਤੇ ਦੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਹੈ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ.
All right. So is there anyone else who would like to volunteer?
sir, solving.
Beneath, is it?
Sir, solving.
Oh, you're
It
also
is not solved
solving.
yet.
Oh, you are all solving. Okay, okay. Please raise your hand if you are, in case one of you is done. Okay, Arya, Ashwin, Arun, the few have done. So maybe what we'll do is we'll just take 5 minutes or maybe 3-4 minutes and let others also solve this, and then we'll discuss one of the solutions.
Sir, one question.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sir, is there any shortcut
Hello.
or any shortcut function in which
Hello,
we
sir.
can
Hello.
in which
Yeah, please go
in
ahead.
which we can check how many times the elements have been there. Matlab, if there is a list in which there is 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, then is there a function from which we can check ki how many times one has occurred?
Yeah, so you have
Hello.
this count, right? So count is one of the list methods. So if list, yeah,
Sorry, sir. Yes, I remember.
right.
Hello, sir. I want to volunteer.
Sure, okay. I will send you the invite. Just one more minute and then we'll start.
Okay,
Invite, you
sir.
can log in.
Sir, I have also done it. Sir, I have just one doubt. In my answer, the sequence of the tuples is not same as the given as the
One
output.
second. Ayush, I think
Yes, sir.
I think there's a lot of disturbance.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Okay.
now it's better. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, Jack.
Wait.
Yes, sir.
Wait a second, sir. I can join.
Okay. Yeah. So please continue. You are asking something. You are telling.
Sir, I was telling in my output, the sequence of the tuple is different from that of the output given in the console side.
Okay.
Would it be affect the answer or not? I just wanted to confirm that.
I mean, is it passing the test cases?
No, sir, because the sequence is different. But
Ah.
at top, it is given that sequence can be different. I think so.
No, right? It should the sequence. It's the whole point of the question is sorting, right? You have to sort it by the frequency.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so 6:30. I think we can now maybe start. So Ayush, you can start. So Ayush there.
Yes, sir. I was there. I can start.
Yeah, please start.
First of all, we define two lists, X and Y let. Then we iterate through the list. Then we append X with the count of the elements and the element of the list. Then we store a variable and sort our output. And to remove the duplicates, we use set property of Python. Then we iterate through the v variable and
Yush?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, got that. Okay.
Yes, sir. I just finished.
Okay. Okay, so we're here sorting by the first index, which is the frequency, and then
Yeah, sir. I done first of all. I take two lists and initialize it. Then I iterate through the list and append its count and the particular element. Then I use set property to sort out all the duplicates and sorted the list with sorted list. Then I iterate through the new list and append its tuples opposite value and return this list.
okay. All right. So let's see if it works. Let's see if this works. Okay, this should be small l. Okay, it passes all public test cases. Okay, it passes all private test cases. So, see, Ayush, I am not against the solution. So
yes, sir.
You are here sorting by the frequency. So
yes, sir.
This is fine. And then what you're doing is basically you want a tuple which is of the form number comma frequency of number. So you
Yes,
are
sir.
reversing this tuple, right? So that is
Yes, sir. I just reverse it.
Yeah. So
After that.
this is fine. This is okay. So this is one solution. Now what makes this problem hard is this the restriction that I am suggesting, right? Or you should not use sorted function anywhere. You should not use okay, count is fine. Count is not such a big, you can always count it in other ways, but you should also not use count. So has anyone solved this problem without using the sorted built-in sorted function utility?
For key in keys.
Okay, whose code should I look at?
Sir, what the other ways I can do this without using the sorted?
Yeah, that is what we'll discuss now. I am just I have asked for
okay,
someone.
Sir, thank you.
Yeah, whose code should I look at for this?
Sir, I have written a code wherein I sorted twice. So in one place, I use the sort function. In other case, I use the insertion sort algorithm.
Okay, but you have used the sort somewhere, is it?
Yes, sir, at one point.
Okay, but I want some solution. Is there anyone here who has written?
Sir, I got the idea.
Okay, but have you written the code without using it?
No, sir. But after you said that, I have got an idea.
Okay.
Sir, actually, we can do something like that. Using the count, without using the count function, we can create a count number for that functions in the list.
Okay.
And make a list for storing it for each values.
All right.
And then we will convert this that list into another variable as a set, and then set to the list.
Okay.
And then we can actually merge that both the list as a tuple functions, finding the least values.
All right. So maybe can you write the code and get back? That might be easier to go through the code.
Yes, sir.
Sir, I also had an idea, sir. Actually, sir, we can use two dictionaries and do the same thing without using sorted.
Right, but do you have the code? Do you have the code where you haven't used sorted?
So no, sir, I'm doing it, but I just told what I'm doing, sir.
Right. Okay, so
Sir, I have done, but my time complexity for sorting is n square. Is it okay?
see, that is fine. I mean, time complexity is introduced only from next week. So
okay, sir.
So whose code I should look at? No,
Sir, I have also done it. I just changed it. I've used insertion sort at both the places, but yes, the complexity becomes n square for that.
At 6:36, I have posted in chat, sir.
So we look at Rajdeep and Vishal. Both of them have done it without using okay, so you're counting this and storing it in the dictionary. Okay, and then okay, I presume this is doing the sorting. Is it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The first nested loop does the sort on the basis of the first entry of the tuple, and the second nested loop does for the second entry of the tuple based on the second entry.
Okay.
So I've actually used absolutely same variables. I just changed the index number in both. So they're absolutely same.
Okay.
Yes, sir. It is working fine.
All right. Yeah. So this is one, and Vishal was the other one.
6:36.
Okay, so this is the again using the dictionary to count, and then sorting. You have a separate method, right?
Yes, sir. I use nested follows for sorting, like a brute force method.
All right. So IJ, okay, right. So this is along the lines of what I was looking for. So I see what I will do is I will also present one solution from my side, and so histogram of L, just like what both of you have done. I'll also do the same thing. So for X in L, if X is not in D, then you create an entry for that, and then you update the frequency, right? So what does D store? D stores the get the counts, or rather the frequency of each element in the list. Okay, so that is what D stores now, and now what you want essentially is a list of tuples of the form x comma frequency of x, right? So let's say this is the tuple, and then you go through each item in the dictionary, which is essentially of the form item comma frequency of item, right? So you're only going to append it, so you're not going to do anything else. So what you have is a list of tuples of the form item comma frequency of that item, or rather I've used item here, so in order to not confuse, this is x comma frequency of x. So far so good. Now what we have to do is we have to sort the list of tuples, for which, like what both Vishal and Rajdeep have done, we use insertion sort, right? So what is insertion sort? It's based on the simple procedure of inserting an element x in the correct position in an already sorted list L. Okay, so just to avoid confusion with this name L here, what we are going to do is we are going to call the list, let's say P. So so this is the assumption. P is already sorted. Insertion P comma X should return a sorted list with X inserted at the right place. Okay, so this is what we want insertion of P comma X to do. Okay, so far is it clear? Okay, I hope it is. So what I do is I create a list called out that will store the sorted list, the output, right? And I go through each element in the input list P. Okay, the moment. So I also need to know if I have inserted an element or not, right? So initially I assume that X has not been inserted in P. Okay, so if I have not inserted the element and if the value of x, remember, is a tuple, right? X, the value and its frequency. So if the frequency is so I need to make a comparison here. What comparison will it be?
Greater than, is it?
Okay. So if the element that I'm looking at is greater than the element I have to insert, then this is the place to insert. So I do out dot append x, right? So we'll come to the second index now. If you have not inserted the element, and then you have to update inserted because you have inserted, right? So you change inserted to true. So if you have not inserted and element of 1 is actually equal to x of 1, so your frequency is the same. Now what you are essentially asking is, and if element of 0 is greater than x of 0, then this is also a time to insert x, right? Outside you anyway have to insert the element that you are iterating through, right? So finally you have to check for a corner case. If you have not inserted it, then it means either P is empty, right? Or the element x is greater than every element in your list. Okay, so this would never evaluate to true, right? So in that case, you have to append x and finally return the output list. Okay, so I know that this might be a bit confusing, but anyway, let's see. So L underscore sort, start with an empty list, and for x in T, you go through each element in T and you insert in the sorted element, you insert x in the right place. Finally, you return the sorted list. Okay, so how many of you did I lose in this process? Did anyone follow this? Okay, let me just run it and see if it works. Highly doubtful because there would be some mistake.
So I think the name of the function was insertion.
Yeah, so this is insert. See. Okay, public test cases. Okay, so this seems to work, right? So did everyone get what is happening in insert? Because see, this is important because this we'll get back to this when we discuss insertion sort in the next week. So this is, in some sense, most of you should have seen this in Python, the previous course itself. But in case you haven't, you must know how this works.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
So instead of doing this, if I extract only values and put it into list, and then I sort it manually using not using the sorted function, and then I look those values in the dictionary, and accordingly, if I print the key value pair, then this will do the same task.
Sorry, I didn't get the.
So if I create a list of values, in dictionary we are having key and value pair, correct?
Right.
So if I create a dictionary of list of values only, and if I sort it, okay, not using the sorted function, maybe we use a simple sorting function.
Okay.
And then once I get a sorted values of that sorted values, then I will look those values in the dictionary, and accordingly the key value pair will be printed. That can do the task easily. So rather doing this lengthy process, that would be better, I think.
Sorry, I don't understand. So you're saying, so we have to sort at some point, right?
Yeah, we have to sort at some point. But simple list is to be sorted, which contains only values of this list dictionary. Sorry.
Yeah, but see, you're sorting, you have to sort at two levels, right? So
no, one level only. Second time we are going to just print using for loop. If it matches, wherever it matches in the dictionary with the value, first sorted values, that key value where will be printed. In that order, it will be printed.
Okay,
the
so
requirement. Sorry, the requirement is to sort based on the count of occurrences.
Yes.
But then, if the occurrences are the same, you'll have to sort by the individual. Sort by the ascending order of the numbers also.
Numbers
so it's a
also,
two-level sort.
Yes.
So if
I
you're
did
looking
that
up in the
way.
dictionary, it will be a problem.
We
No?
can
Because
just add one if statement if it is
Sir,
there.
I did that way. You can check code. I pasted in the chat.
okay. Is your code?
Sir, can you maybe explain the insertion function? I didn't get it.
Yeah, okay. 1 second. I'll go to that, but before I go there, this is so what is this doing?
Sir, first I did sorting. First I made a tuple, list of tuple.
Okay.
Then I sorted by frequency. Then I checked if the frequency are same. Then I sorted by the value.
Okay, this is fine. So you are essentially sorting by swapping, right?
Yes, sir. By swapping.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so this is also valid. So what insertion sort I am doing here is see, you are going through. So if you comment out all these things, essentially what you are doing is for each element in P, you are appending that particular element to the output list. Okay, so that is what you are doing here. That's the skeleton of the for loop. Now, what we want to do is we want to insert this X somewhere.
So P is a list of tuples, right?
Yeah, P is a list of tuples. And it's already sorted, right? So both these things you have to keep in mind, which is that P is a list of tuples and P is already sorted. Where by sorted I mean according to the order that we want, right? Sorted by first element as well as second element. Okay, according to our requirement. Once you assume these two things, then you have to insert X, which is what? X is of the form number comma frequency of number, which is also a tuple in some sense, right? So now you have to see where to insert this particular X in the sorted list P.
Right.
So you begin by saying inserted is false, you have not inserted, and then you ask, the first thing you ask is, this is the first level of sort, which is based on the second index. Okay, so if the second index, mainly the frequency, if the frequency of the element is greater than the frequency of this input X, then it means it is time for you to insert X. Okay, and you set inserted to be true. If the frequency happens to be the same, then you do sorting based on the first index, right? So if it is not inserted, I'll add brackets here so as to make it clear. And if the second index happens to be the same, then you look for the first index and you insert it at that particular point. Okay, and finally when you come out, if this case is a corner case, which you have to understand as two possibilities. So possibility one is P is empty. In that case, you won't even iterate through the loop. So in that case, you won't have inserted X. Second possibility is if X of 1 is greater than every element in P. So if X of 1 is greater than every element in P, then you will never insert it, right? So you'll have to insert it at the end. Okay, is this clear? Is insert clear now?
Sir, why? Okay, got it. Yes, got it.
All right. Right. So if there are any other questions related to this, what you could do is you can raise a post in discourse saying that this particular code is not clear. Then we can sort it out there also.
Sir, if you use the inbuilt sort function, then is it less efficient than this insertion sort?
No, that is probably more efficient than insertion sort. So the sorted function or the L dot sort, right? Both of these are far more efficient than insertion sort. But
not for us to practice.
Yeah. So if you want, so it makes it too trivial. That's the only thing. See, week 2 is all about sorting methods. If you look at, so apart from analysis of algorithms, this big O notation and all that, you will start with selection sort, insertion sort, merge sort, and then you will, so none of these will use the inbuilt sorting functions, right? They'll all, the whole point of week 2 is to demonstrate how basic sorting algorithms work.
Sir, we can use try and except, right? I use try except to form dictionary.
Yeah, you can use.
I felt that was simple. So instead of, 644 direct message.
Yeah, try except you can, but you don't need it, right? I mean, you can always check if a key is present or not. Try except you are relying on the, the exception being caught and then adding a value to that key. That's what you are doing, right?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah, that is also fine, but yeah. All right, I think that's all we had. We were able to do all these 6 problems. Right, any questions? If not, we'll close the session.
So can you maybe also explain the swapping sort thing that somebody had shared?
Yeah, so what is that? Okay, so what is being done here is you are looking at in fact, this is not so simple. This seems very simple to look at. Actually, it's not so simple. This is a okay. Let me just.
Sorry, sir. Sorry to interrupt, sir. This is my code. Javin this side.
Yeah. So, can you explain what you're doing here?
Sir, actually, I'm going through the list two time, each time picking an element.
Okay.
If the frequency is different, greater than or less than of ith. Sorry, sir. I am very not fluent in English.
No, that is fine. So the question is, see, this is a non-trivial algorithm. So that's why I'm asking you, why do you see, we want to sort L in ascending order of first index, right? I mean second index.
Yes. It will pick first of all, a small L is a list of tuple, which tuple has a first element is of tuple is a value and second element is a frequency.
Correct.
So first I will check if ith element the frequency is less than jth element of frequency.
Right.
Then I will swap.
That is where the question is. Why do you swap?
To sort it.
So intuitively, I'll ask you one question.
Yes, sir.
If the ith element is already less than the jth element, why would you want to swap? See, if I is, let's say the length of L is 10 and I is 3, J is 7.
Okay.
So if the third element is already less than the seventh element, then why should I swap? You get the question, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so I just search online for
Sir, I did the swap method only.
yeah, so I just want you to, I'll just show you one computer science paper that is research paper that is accessible to all of you. This was published in October 2021. Okay, I mean, this is not published in a journal, but it has been hosted on archive. So 3rd October, right? Notice the date. I'll just go inside. Okay, so I'll show you the relevant section here. So look at the abstract. Okay, I mean, what the abstract says is we present an extremely simple sorting algorithm. It may look like it is obviously wrong, but we prove that it is correct. Okay, so I go down to the algorithm, and can all of you see this?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what is it doing? It's exactly similar to what is given here. You are going through the array or the list. If the ith element is less than the jth element, you swap. Okay, you see the beauty of the algorithm. So does anyone see why this is true?
Sir, is it descending order?
No, it is ascending order. So see, here is an algorithm that sorts an array of n elements in non-descending order, meaning ascending order. Assuming its elements are distinct, you can assume that non-descending would mean ascending. So see, this is the first reaction, right? So the first reaction of someone seeing this might be that this cannot be correct, right? You get the direction of inequality wrong and the loop indices wrong, right? So what does he mean by that? If a of I is less than a of j, then that means it's already in correct position, right? Why are you swapping?
That's what my doubts.
Yeah. So
here the inner loop is also iterating from 1 to n. So
Be
once
I to n.
the element is already swapped in the list, as we are iterating from again 1 to n in the inner loop. So already if the swapped element is, then again it swaps itself.
But it's not so simple, right? So you're right in some sense. That's why they have published one paper for this, right? So they have proved that this algorithm is correct, and the proof runs to some 2 pages, right? So I just wanted to show that this is not as simple as it seems, though this is a correct algorithm. We need to understand this, right? So what I will do is I encourage all of you to look at this. This is something that is accessible to all of you, and let's have a discussion maybe next week, right? Just to note that this is not trivial, right? So this is something we need to look into at a deeper level. All right. So anyone else having any questions?
Yes, sir. Sir, I have written the code and I'm getting the output also, but it is not organized. So I want to know that how can I change my code so that I get the organized output? I'm placing my code in chat. Just a second.
Yeah. So
I just pasted in the chat window.
okay. So with this we will close because we are already overshooting. So what I will do is, this is okay. There is your code. I didn't copy your. Yeah. Yeah. Code is not getting copied.
Sir, you have to just deselect the last 2 lines which are already given.
That is why it is not copied. It's not pasting. Okay. So what is it you are saying?
I'm not getting the output in organized manner.
So you are
The
see you are
sorted thing I'm not getting.
okay. If X is not in the keys, then you are.
Sir, it is not being sorted.
Yeah, you're not sorting it right anywhere.
Yes.
No.
Okay, that is why you have to sort, right? The whole problem is about sorting the list based on the first index, second index, and then the first index. So it's a 2-level sort.
Sir, in this problem, I have done the sorting and I have got the output and my all cases are correct. But the efficiency is going n square. So there can be we can use a quick sort in this to reduce the complexity of the problem.
Yeah. So more efficient sorting algorithms, we'll come to that, right? So next 2 weeks are about that. So second week we'll look at insertion sort, selection sort, and then finally merge sort. And in week 3 we look at quick sort.
Okay.
All right. So thanks everyone for joining.
Thank you, sir.
So one question, sir.
Yeah.
Can we get the chat history of this after the session? Because when we look at the session in YouTube, whatever is being discussed in the chat, we are not able to get that. So this happened in the last term also.
Okay. I am not sure about how it's going to work. I'll ask the concerned team and then I'll get back to you.
Okay, so actually many people are asking this. We wanted to raise this.
Okay, sure. I will raise it in our internal team meetings and I will get back to you.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Right. Okay.
So actually, I had a hello.
Yeah.
So I had a question regarding the open session that is scheduled every Thursday from 2 to 4 p.m.
Okay.
Actually, I work full time, and that's why I missed the last week's session as well. So, is there a way we can reconsider the timings, considering like how many people are okay with the timing?
See, the problem is the number of courses that are running is quite high, right? I mean, in the diploma level itself, we have PDSA, TBMS, Java, and all these things. And every one of these courses also needs a evening slot, at least 1 or 2 evening slots.
Yeah.
Right. So that is the problem. So we already have, I think, more than 7 diploma courses. So if you have to distribute the evening sessions among all of them, the only problem is some of you might be taking, say, Java and PDSA or Java and DBMS. So there will be these clashes. We will try to see what can be done. Okay, so I won't be able to promise at this stage, but we'll see what can be done.
Okay. Also, sir, if I have any queries, like similar queries regarding timings or something like that, I can drop a mail to the support team. So should I use the student email ID or can I use my
No. Student email ID the probability of getting a response is higher.
Okay, sure. I will use that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sir, can you please show again how to get to the research paper that you have shown?
Get to what? Sorry?
The research paper you have shown.
Research paper, right? So I will paste it here. I think I pasted it. Maybe you didn't get it. I am pasting it again in the chat. So this, I think we have to discuss. Let us all read this up and see why it works. I have also not read through the whole thing.
Sir, actually, I did trial and error. I first tried greater than, but it didn't work. Then I tried less than. It worked.
Right. So you have discovered what they call the simplest sorting algorithm.
Yes, sir.
Had you done it before October, you could have published the paper, but it's okay.
Discovered by accident.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not joking, right? So see, this is 3rd October 2021. This is very, I don't know if no one has discovered this before or not, because if you look at their references are, there's just one, which is a textbook actually by Kanut. So I don't know why. Yeah, so just for those who have not left, see, in addition to Professor Madhavan's lectures, you could also look at the prescribed textbooks. Some of them are excellent, especially this textbook by Kleinberg and Tardosh, Algorithm Design. Right? It's one of the prescribed textbooks. I encourage all of you to read the first chapter. First chapter is excellently written by both the authors. Right, so before you finish the course, please make it a point to read at least the introductory chapter of one of these textbooks.
So please, could you please type that name in the chat box?
Yeah, so this is Algorithm Design by Kleinberg and Tardosh. Right, it's an excellent textbook. At least the first chapter, I have read through it, and I haven't read a better introduction for any textbook anywhere. So highly recommend it. So please try to grab a copy, or it's there in your local library or someplace you can certainly have a look at it. All right then, so we have to close the session now, and thank you for joining. I'll be ending the meeting.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Good.
It was a very nice session.
Thank you. Yeah, Happy New Year to everyone. Thank you.
Happy New Year.
Thank you, sir. Happy New Year, sir.
Thank you.